What up, YouTube? You got Sarge here. Shout out to the Craft Nation crew. What up, my peeps? So tonight, as you can see, repping for the Hawaii Craft Shooters crew. What up, Brian and the crew? Hope all is going well over there in the on the island. So, matter of fact, last week I went to visit another island. I went to visit the Dominican Republic. Okay, stayed at the Hard Rock Cafe in Punta Canta, Dominican Republic. Let me tell you, folks, that is a beautiful place. Didn't get out to see much of the island, but the Hard Rock Cafe in Punta Canta is a beautiful place. Matter of fact, I forgot. I think they said it's almost 100 and can't be right. 18,000 square acres or something like that. It's massive. It's just a massive place. Well, I know the guy said it has 1,800 rooms, so there you go. So, first off, let's dispense with the small stuff. Flew out of Austin, Texas. Luckily, got a direct flight, so we got upgraded to business class. That was great to just be able to kick back for the 4-hour flight going down, 4 hours going down, 5 hours coming back, non-stop from Austin, Texas, straight to Punta Canta. So it was a great flight, very smooth. Got there, no issues. You know, they, my wife and I went down there for this thing called Soul Fest, which is it was just a bunch of concerts of different old school soul singers. I'll just call off a few names to that you may know of. People like Fantasia. She was the one that won American Idol way back when, and then another Erica Badu. Erica Badu. Okay, and just to name a few. So those are some of the big headliners that was there, and then there was even a comedy show that went along with it. Bill Bellamy, some of you might be familiar with him. He was down there, and they did a whole separate comedy show thing. So it was great. It was a lot of stuff going on. So like I said, that was a real reason for going down there for the Soul Fest, and it was my wife and I, and we had two other couples with us, some very good friends. So I really didn't get to play as much in the casino as I would like to, because again, our daily routine was somewhat. We'd wake up in the morning. Once we got checked into the room and stuff. Okay, let me lay this out more succinctly. Day one, we got there, got checked in, went checked out the room. Beautiful room, very very spacious, great amenities. The facility has 17 swimming pools in it, and I mean, plus the beach. You know, I'm an island boy, love to swim in the ocean, so every day I was on the beach, and the beach was just a stone's throw from our room. So that worked out just perfect for me. And then we would hit the beach and then go sit around the pool. There would always be a DJ there. Like I said, this was a big event. There was over about 3,000, close to 4,000 people there. Okay, I'm gonna split the difference and say right at 3,500 people was there. You know, that flew in for that one event that lasted. Well, it lasted 4 days, but we got down there on Wednesday and left on Monday. So we came up with a daily routine where, you know, during the day we would go and everybody would go off their own ways and just go hang out, go swimming, go to the pool, go do whatever. But in the evening at about 5-6 o'clock, all 3 couples, you know, all of us would meet up for dinner, and we'd go at one of the many restaurants they have there, I mean, everything's inclusive, so you basically just sit down and order from the menu, and food's great. Food's great. I mean, every night we try different restaurants, and yeah, nothing was off limits at the restaurants. Food was excellent, uh, and the thing down there is hola. You know, everybody you see, they come to you, they say hola. So yeah, you just kind of get that. It's almost you know, it's that's their thing down there. I guess it's, you know, like any beach restaurant or something, beach resort. You know, people are very nice and friendly. The people there are very friendly. You know, and the whole time there, we didn't leave the resort area. We stayed there because there was so much going on daily. You know, but like I said, day one we got in there. Once we got set up, you know, we went out to dinner. Then at night, by the time we got finished eating dinner, everybody would go back to their rooms, get changed up, and the night concerts or the shows for that night would start at probably about 7:30 and go up until about 10:30 to 11 nightly. So that was how we spent our nights, and then after the concert was over with, of course, we would, you know, either go listen to a band for a few something. In my mind, I'm trying to figure out how can I how can I make a break and get to the casino, go check out what's going on in the craps pit. And I think the first night we didn't do anything. Me and the wife just hung out in the room, chilled out. The second night, after we did our usual dinner, then a show. We after the show was over with, we went down to check out the casino. Now this was the first time I was checking out the craps pit, so let me go ahead and give you some detailed notes that I took of the craps pit once I was finished. So there was only one crab table, okay, one crab table. It's a 14-foot table, neutral bounce, okay. I'm gonna call it a shooter's table. Let me tell you, so when those dice hit the table, they just died. I mean, if you didn't throw them hard, you know, you try to throw them just with a nice little soft spin, a lot of time they wouldn't get to the back wall, and it would call no roll. It was almost like the table, I don't know, it's almost like a worn-out table. I don't know. It was just, but if you could keep the dice on axis, they would land, you would get that clack, and they would land flush and just sit there. And I was like, whoa, this is cool. So, but anyhow, that second night, once I finally was able to get on the table, I bought in for, I was giving updates to the Crap Nation crew, and I neglected to, you know, for everyone in the Craps chat, some of y'all familiar with some of this info here, but I went ahead and, okay, so let's see from my notes here. Bought in for 400 on that first night, and I had went down 200 early in the session, okay, and because as the dice was going around, let me tell you something. Most of the folks there was you had your typical how do you play this game, you know, chicken feeders, no serious shooters at all, and even the shooters that looked like they was trying to be serious still wasn't no control shooters, no dice setters, or you would have folks that set the dice and then take them up and shake them. Why did you just set them? Counterproductive, but hey, whatever works. So I would just take them bet 6-8 until the dice come around. I think when I walked up to the table initially, table was full, and then someone finally had stepped away, and I was able to get into my SR2 position, and I got there, and when the dice came around, it took a minute for the dice to come around. Again, the dealers there are a little bit slow, a little bit I want to say new to the game, but they aren't as quick as you would expect, like in Vegas or some place like that. So they once the dice finally made their way around to me after I was just betting 6-8 and everyone, I think I was able to maybe make maybe $30 if that. Yeah, oh, and I neglect to mention it's a $15 table, and the tables don't open until 8 o'clock in the evening. Okay, they stay open till 4 in the morning, and then I guess the casino closes down. Period, and then they reopen at 8. But all the table games close at uh, 4 a.m. and don't reopen until 8 p.m. nightly. So, so like I said, I was there on the table, was able to get on there that night, my first night on the table, and when the dice came around, first thing I was looking at, number one, there was plexiglass. Okay, this is the first time. I know all you guys are familiar with plexiglass, but the casinos that I play at, such as Shreveport and Oklahoma down to Choctaw, they don't have plexiglass. So this was all new to me. So I was trying to figure out how I was going to deal with it, and once I leaned out over the table in my normal throwing stance, I realized, okay, you know what, the plexiglass was not going to be an issue. So I started throwing, and like I said, I think my first hand I had a 7 roll. Okay, so did okay. 7 roll. I think it was a $15 minimum table. I think I went 96 across and stayed up for 3 hits, then quickly regressed and sevened out after a few rolls. So I was just trying to get a feel for the table and get my mechanics in line, get dialed in on the table, look at my landing zone. Matter of fact, I take that back. My first toss on the table after setting the point was a .7 out. And the first thing I realized was that my dice, my mechanics were on point, but the dice, I landed them short. And you guys familiar with, sometimes you'll see a dice hit a table and kind of just flip out. One dice goes over the other dice, kind of like they change place. And as soon as that happened, I was like, I knew exactly what I did, because I didn't put them right at the base of the wall, kind of wedge them in there like I normally like to. I left that room, and as soon as it hit, and on top of that, it didn't hit flush, the dice flipped over the top, and it was a 4-3-7. I was using my 5-4-1-5 set, and it worked great. It PSO'd, so when it came around that second time, I had a 7-roll hand, and then between, I shot myself in the foot by looking at the dice go around. I saw what I thought might have been a couple of decent shooters, and decided to load up on them. Big mistake. I need to quit doing that dumb shit. Because I think I did it twice on 2 guys that had decent roll. Looked like they wasn't. They were rhythm rollers. How some of them guys would take and do their little circle and throw the dice out and go around once, twice, and then, so. And I could tell these guys, they were familiar with the crap game and shooting. So I decided I was going to at least try to step for 2 hits. So what happened with both of them? They promptly PSO'd both times on the 2 guys that I loaded up on. So went down 200 early in the session real quick. When the dice came back around to me, the third hand, I had a 25 roll, actually, yeah, 25 roll hand. And by this time, I was really focused in because now I knew exactly where my landing zone was at, where I needed to be landing, and my mechanics, everything, you know, out over the dice, uh, tight release, keeping fingers together. Everything was working great, and I pulled off a 25 roll. I think I had went in at 160 across and pressed for 7 hits, and promptly regressed after that to the table min, 96 across, and just press and collect up 1 unit. And yeah, I did okay, recovered at 200, and walked away up 100. Bought it for 400 and walked away at 529. So I tipped to the dealers that 29, 30 bucks, and walked away with $100 to the good that first session of table. So that was good. The next night, same usual thing. The next day, me and the wife got up, went to the beach, hung out down there for a bit, and we came back up, hung out poolside. The DJ was jamming, pumping music in the air. The place was packed with people, sunshine, 80 degrees, paradise, just beautiful. So after that, and we wasn't rolling out of bed till like about 12, 1 o'clock in the day, you know, and then hit the beach for a few. And by that time, it would be time to go back home, go back to the room, get changed up, and then go have dinner with our friends, and then go back, get changed again, and head off to the night shows, which would start at 7:30. So once the show was over with, that second night, went back down to the casino. I think we went and we looked at there was a couple of bands on the side and stuff, and that was playing. So we hung out at the band for a bit, and by the time we hit the casino, it was about 1 o'clock in the morning or so. So it still had a good crowd of people in there. Walked up to the table, could not get the SR2 position whatsoever. Finally, well, the table was packed, and finally the stick left 2 came open, and I decided, you know what, go ahead and break out the old pinch grip and give it a shot, because I was gonna be shooting with my left hand from the left side of the table. So and I'm pretty confident with that throw. So as you know, as the dice went around, I betted 6-8 on everyone. Decided I ain't loading up on nobody. I'm going straight 6-8. Matter of fact, I as the dice was going around, you know. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the tables have absolutely no bonus bet. There's no ATS. There's no repeater bets. It's just straight craps. Just straight, period, just crap. That's all there is, okay? And so all you playing is the box numbers and crap numbers, the feel and all that stuff, the usual hard ways, but no bonus whatsoever. So anyhow, as the dice came around, this guy, I noticed, I watched him when the dice had came to him before, and chicken feeder, I said, okay, you know what, I'm gonna do a 5 count on him. So I waited. He shot, set the point 10. I betted 6-8. Think he hit the 8 twice. As soon as he hit the 8 twice, then he threw a couple rubbish numbers. I said, turn me off. And soon as the dealer, I said, turn me off and take me down. Then I laid the 10 for $50. At which, on the next roll, he promptly 7'd out. My buddy that was standing next to me thought I was a genius. He's like, how the hell you did that? I was like, yeah, I just got lucky. So, you know, normally I am not a dark side player, but you know what? With those folks down there at the table like that, yeah, pound it don't, like Big Easy said. I could have easily pound the don'ts all night and make money. But I'm a right side better. So anyhow, next night, oh well, no, not next night. That night when the dice came around, shooting, uh, shooting the my pinch grip, I took, and as I started to release the dice, I was having a problem with the plexiglass. So I was trying to lean out around the plexiglass to get the dice down. And it just felt awkward. It didn't feel right. Then I took and instead of trying to lean over the plexiglass, I put my hand outside the plexiglass and started looking straight through the plexiglass down the table, which worked out better. Just look through the plexiglass and had my hand out there, and I got about I think I got about a 10 roll out of that hand there, using the pinch grip. Like I said, I'm feel pretty confident with that toss, and it worked out great. I think that night I didn't stand the table too long, and basically broke even that night when I left off the table. So yeah, nothing. I think I only played maybe 2 hands real quick in and out because everyone was kind of tired when we got to the casino. It was already one in the morning, and the wife played slots for a bit, and she was like, she was ready to go to the room. So I was like, okay, we headed out. So usual stuff. The next day, got up, did the same thing, hung out at the pool, didn't even hit the beach, just hung out at the pool, listened to music, chilled out. Me and the wife just enjoying the atmosphere, and then later on, usual, got ready for dinner, hung out with our friends, then checked out the night festivities, the night concert. After the concert, went down, hit up the casino, and that night, things went south real quick for some reason. That's right. So I couldn't. Once I got on the table that night, I couldn't get the SR2 position, so I was shooting from SR3, which was pretty much right out of the hook. And because I needed to put a little bit more for high release on the dice, every time I brought my hand up, I was hitting off the top of the plexiglass, and it caused the dice to just go off axis. And this no matter how, even when I adjusted my throw so I didn't hit the plexiglass, I was so conscious of not hitting the plexiglass that my hand, I would just release the dice early, or I couldn't really get the correct swing action, throwing action that I wanted. So my mechanics was just off, and I think I loaded up. Let's see. Not only that, okay, my hand hit the plexiglass, and on top of that, a lot of folks was just betting the field. A lot of those players down there, they're just straight up field bettors, and they would be putting down their bets late in the as the dice, you're hearing dice out, and they're still putting down their hands, and you got the dice, and you look down at somebody's hand that's down there in the field fiddling with money, and you got the dealers yelling at them and trying to pull the dice back. So it threw off my whole mindset, and then on top of that, there was all these minefields, okay, all these chips down at the end, just placed kind of at random, and many a times in a lot of my rolls, my dice would hit off the chip and 7 out, okay, in at least 3 or 4 different sessions. Every time my dice hit off the chip, it was a 7. I know there's no correlation between tornadoes and trailer park, but guess what? If it's a tornado, it normally finds the trailer park. If the dice hit off the chips, normally that chip assist ends up being a 7 for whatever reason. It just does. So anyhow, let's see. Yep. So that night when I left on the table, I was down 500. So yeah, this was not a good night. Only played a couple quick hands and down 500 just like that. So I was like, okay, all right, cool. Next night, usual daily routine: hit the beach, hang out at the pool. I think this was gonna be like last night. So I decided, okay, you know what? This is the last night. Up until then, I was kind of betting somewhat conservatively, just going with the 96 across. And only one time when I was down, I went 160 across. So this night here, I decided, hey, I'm going all in. This is it. Now I can splurge a little because the next day we're getting on the plane. So I was like, okay, you know, this is it, man. Guts and glory. So we'll go in there. I buy in for 500. I will load up 160 across, and the dice. Matter of fact, I take that back. Since this was gonna be my last stand, I decided. I walked up after the shows was over with early that night by 11. When we went down to the casino, tables were packed, everybody playing. Wanted to get on there. God, I wanted to get on there, but I said, you know what? Nope. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna come back down here about 2 o'clock in the morning. So my wife was on the slot machine, her and her friends, everybody's playing, and I just kind of watched the table action and see what was going on. Again, just looking at shooters. No, there was one guy, I think it was the same guy that was, you know, doing his little rhythm roll and throw, and he had a couple of decent shots. Would have loved to got on the table with him, because I think we could have made some money together. But the funny thing was, when I was walking in after we had left the casino, took the wife back to the room. I told her I'm going back down to the casino. It was 2 o'clock in the morning, literally. But when I was walking in, that rhythm roll I talked about, he was walking out. I started to say something to him, older fella, but I said, nah. He looked like he was ready to call it a night. So anyhow, walked up to the crap table. Nobody's on the crap table. Ideal. This is the stuff you dream of. It's like, okay, just me and the dealers, and they look like they're bored silly. So I'm like, all right. I said, all right, guys, let's go. I pull out 500, throw on the table. I said, go ahead, load me up 160 across, and working to come out. It's like, working, you working? I was like, working to come out. So, all right. They push the dice over. I set to actually set to the 3V set, and I stacked them, went into the chopper, and on the come out roll, through the chopper, end up with like a 426, and it's like, okay. I said, go ahead, press the 6, and they was like, you don't want it? I was like, no. I went ahead and put money behind the line on the 6 in addition to that. So since it was the 6, I figured, okay, you know, it's probably a good bet. Instead of taking it down, I let it sit up top, and I put the odds bet behind the pass line. So basically, I was still all the way across at 160, and I commenced the rolling. I think first hand. Let's see, I think I had it written down here. First hand, I had a 15 roll hand. I pressed for 5 hits, then pressed for 5 hits at 160, then regressed down, went down to 96 across, and then after 15 rolls, 7 out. So I was like, okay, so you know what? Something that I hadn't tried before. I was like, might as well instead of. I was like, I can work to come out, but let me load up on the pass line and go to the all seven set. And I went to the all seven set, a set that I don't normally use because I'm normally up in the bonus. So if you're an ATS player like I am, you don't normally root for the seven on the come out. Period. You know, that's like the kiss of death. So I went ahead. I set to the all seven set, 6-1. No, was it? Yeah, 6-4-1-3, and let him rip. 7 frontline winner. 7 frontline winner. I stack. 7 frontline winner. I hit the come out 7 3 times back to back. Then after that, I was like, okay, you know what? I went ahead, racked some of that, because by now I had about 45, $50 sitting there on the pass line. So I took it back down to 25. Then I went ahead and I went back to the 3V chopper, and then and it said working, and promptly hit a 628 on the come out, and told him go ahead and press it, and again stayed up for 5 hits, and that hand there had a 21 roll hand that session. Okay, 21 roll hand. Man, the dice were nice. Okay, the dice was being very nice. The dice were coming off in a very tight spiral, in sync, just in sync. I was so focused, guys. Let me tell you, I was focused so hard. I was sweating. Okay, I was concentrating on my mechanics of keeping my fingers very tight during the release. I was making sure I'm hitting the landing zone, because after that first night, when the dice I had landed short and the dice kind of bounced and skipped over on the other side of 7 hours, like that wasn't gonna happen. So, and then what I started noticing too was I was hitting a lot of hard ways. So I loaded up on all the hard ways, $5 on all the hard ways, and I think I hit the hard 6 twice, hit the hard 10 twice, hit the hard 8, about 4 times. You know, I mean, I was really killing it, and I mean, this is the beauty of having a table to yourself. But also the drawback is you ain't got nobody there to kind of share it with and share you on. But hey, you know what? I don't need any glory. I was just happy in what I was doing. But it would have been nice if I had another shooter there that that could once I pass the dice, take a breather, because every time I 7 out, which is kind of like in practice here at home, the dice was coming right back to me. But because the dice was coming right back to you, the focus and concentration, degree of concentration was so high constantly. Okay, and sweat started beating off of me. Not just the fact that maybe a little nervousness too, but just the fact that you're 100% focused. I mean, I don't know, somebody could have been singing in my ear and I wouldn't have heard them, because I was 100% focused on what I was doing, and keeping my fingers tight, making sure that there was no splitting the dice, that the dice was leaving my hand, a good release, trying to go for the perfect release every time and hitting that landing zone. So, and that I didn't change set. I stuck with that 5-4-1-5 set, and it served me well. Okay, so I had a 21 roll hand, that second hand around. Next hand, after I promptly 7'd out after regressing, once I was staying up for 5 hits each time. The last hand, I went up to I went 320 across, and the dealers look at me. They say, "Working?" I said, "Of course, working." It's like, "Oh yeah, he working." By this time, the only people that I have that are paying attention are the dealers, and they called over all their other buddies. Like, "Oh, watch this guy." I guess maybe they hadn't seen a serious, you know, control shooter, you know. So they all kind of gathered around and was like, "Oh, it's a shooter," you know. So and they was like, "Good, good, yeah, yeah." So anyhow, the dice came to me, 320 across. I went ahead and set for the chopper, the 3V. I stacked them and 100% focus, making sure I'm gonna get them off just right. Boom, let them go. The dice just lay down. Once again, Cashier Cage would be proud of me. They lay down like two flapjacks, pancake, like I let the air out the tire. They took one skip, went right to the back wall, and just lay there. It was a hard 10. It's like, all right, press the 4 and 10, okay? And after that, I promptly went back to a 3-finger GTC par throw, and which is what I've normally been using. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I started throwing and press for 3 hits, and after that, regress down. Told him take me down, go to table min, and yeah, just went ahead and shot it out. That roll ended up being a 10 roll hand, and after that, I think let's see, yeah. After that, I was like, okay, you know what? Chip rack was looking pretty filled up by then with a lot of red, lots of green. I think I might have had 1 or 2 blacks in there, and I was like, okay, you know what? Let's just call it a night. I'm feeling good about this, but didn't want to get greedy and try to make a lot, but didn't want to give. Want to make sure I left out of there with a profit. So I took and so deals colored me up and pushed in and colored up to the tune of 1,076. So made $500. Bought it for 500, made 500. Tipped the dealer $76, and I walked over on the side. And they told me, "Oh, we see you tomorrow." Like, no, tomorrow, mañana back to Texas. So like, deuces, I'm out. So I sat down there, and that's when I just kind of looked at the table and just try to come up with some notes for you guys as far as the table. Like I said, it's a 14-foot table. The from the ground to the chip rail, okay, from the floor to the chip rail, has got to be at least about 40 inches, because my throwing station out here is about 41, 42 inches, and that was hitting me right like my throwing station. So it's got to be at least 40 to 41 inches. So it felt good. If the plexiglass was in there, I think I probably would have did even better. But you know, once I get past the initial plexiglass, it wasn't an issue. And of course, he was wearing a mask too. So, but shooting from the SR3, SR2 position was perfect. That kind of placed me right dead square with my hand being on the field numbers, and I aligned my hand. I had a specific alignment where every time I picked the dice up, I would make sure that my hand was under the F in the letter field. Okay, my hand was aligned right next to the F. That was my pickup point, my launch point. And as far as the landing zone, I was dropping them in right at about 1 to 2 inches from the back wall. Sometimes I would drop them right at the base of the back wall, and they would just land flat and sit there. Absolutely no rollout. So that was great. So when all was said and done, for my Punta Canta trip, I left out of there being uh, $500 down. Okay, be straight up with you. I left out of there being $500 down. Uh, Again, but for being there for what's it, 5 days, yeah, that wasn't bad. You know, I think that was okay. I could have stayed and played longer, but nah, that was okay. Everything worked out great. Uh, the atmosphere of the Hard Rock Cafe in Punta Canta is great. Is beautiful. I enjoyed the amenities, enjoyed the facilities. Again, like I said, everything was all inclusive, so you could eat in any restaurant. In the mornings when we wake up, we'd go down. In the mornings, in the afternoon when we wake up, we'd go down and go have burgers and fries at one of the local restaurant in their little walk area outside the casino there. And yeah, everything just went great. And when it was time to get out of there, just just picture this: 3,000 plus people all trying to get on buses out front. Felt like I was on a military deployment heading back to Afghanistan or Iraq or something, with all the buses out front and suitcases. It was a madhouse, but somehow they managed to get everyone out of there and to the airport in a timely manner. And then you get to the airport and there's the usual headache with customs and just the TSA line. I go up to the counter. I was like, "Hey, I'm TSA pre." The lady said, "Sir, we don't have TSA pre." I was like, "Damn it!" I was like, "Gotta take my shoes off." I was like, and matter of fact, that happened to me down here in Austin leaving. The lady didn't put TSA pre on my ticket. Guys, I hate taking my damn shoes off. I paid that $105 or whatever it is just so I don't have to take my shoes off. I will go through that TSA pre line gladly and keep my shoes on. So yeah, I had to go through the line, take my shoes off. That's just one of my little quirks. So, but all that being said, yeah, the my Punta Canta trip, Dominican Republic was excellent. I had a blast, and to leave out of there being down $500, eh, I think that's okay. I can live with that. That was fun. I quite sure if I stuck around a bit longer, I could have did some damage, but took me a minute to get dialed in, and you know, again, the ideal thing is to be on the table with little to no one on the table, cause the headache was the more people that was on the table, the more landmine chips that you had to avoid, people putting their late bets down, and it just slowed the game down and just caused a whole bunch of you know stuff to obstacle to just throw off the game. So, but all that being said, I look forward to going back down there to the Dominican Republic one of these days again and playing down there. And like I said, that's a shooter's table down there. So if you're ever gonna go down there, check out Punta Canta Hard Rock Cafe. Great place, man. All right, fellas. Hey, this has been the Sarge giving you my Dominican Republic Punta Canta Hard Rock Cafe trip report. Until next time, Sarge out. Take care, my peeps.